Hello, I'm Professor Kino, and welcome to my Office of Cinematic Antiquity. Today we'll be talking about... I'm a little late to this review. Life got in the way as it does, and I have only just seen Rocketman. But I was excited about it. I had only heard glowing things, and the fact that it is a musical biopic by Dexter Fletcher, hot off the tail of Bohemian Rhapsody, a film that was Fletcher's idea in the first place, and one he had to come into and fix/finish after Bryan Singer, the director that Fox hired to direct the flick instead because he was deemed more qualified than Fletcher, turned out to be a nutto. I was so totally ready for another awesome musical experience because I loved what Fletcher did with Bohemian Rhapsody. So, did he deliver again with Rocketman? Premise. This film follows Elton John's journey from young musical prodigy to rock star, and all the things that come with that, i.e. addiction and depression, but also wonderment and growth. Writing. I'm sure most people who go to see this are just expecting the film to be Bohemian Rhapsody, but with Elton John as opposed to Freddie Mercury, and for the most part these people would be right. Musical prodigy, starts low, explodes into popularity, gay, drug problem, alcoholism, an agent that happens to also be an abusive, controlling lover, rehabilitation, maturing, coming into themselves, and lots of concerts. Rocketman is, in many respects, a by-the-numbers musician biopic. But despite all of this, the film works wonderfully. There's nothing new, there's nothing surprising, there's nothing groundbreaking, but there's just something about seeing the difficult life and amazing music of one of the world's greatest musicians in one condensed story that is compelling and, dare I say, fun. However, Rocketman does differ from Bohemian Rhapsody in two ways. First, Bohemian Rhapsody was solely a celebration of the legacy of Queen. It delved into the nitty-gritty details of the band a little, but when doing so, it always felt like it held its punches for fear of alienating its audience. Rocketman is not afraid about doing that at all. While it is clearly a celebration of Elton John and his legacy, the film also delves deep into his life and personal problems. Relatively graphic gay sex, hardcore drug use, deep depression. Rocketman doesn't shy away from including Elton's personal life and story as part of his legacy. But this film really benefits because of that. It makes it feel more grounded. And the second big difference of Rocketman when compared to Bohemian Rhapsody is its inclusion of fantastical elements as a way to add style. Not like dragons or elves or anything, but the film adds in slightly magical elements to the various musical performances, such as floating off the ground during Crocodile Rock and launching into the atmosphere during Rocketman that fit really well and add a nice dash of uniqueness to this film. And this sort of fantastical element is then added into the way that the story is told, i.e. playing Elton John music with dance choreography during moments of Elton's actual life in order to reveal plot points and time passage in energetic and fashionable ways. And these two big differences, showing the more graphic and gritty details of the lead performer's life and including more fantastical elements, help to make this film its own, and it's all the better because of it. Acting. First, the star of the show, Taron Egerton as Elton John. He kills it. Just like how Rami Malek embodied Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, Taron Egerton embodies Elton John here. He is stylish, conflicted, charismatic, and really nails that introverted extrovert personality of Elton. He does fantastic work. The rest of the cast I found great, but no one gives a fantastic performance like Egerton does. Kit Connor and Matthew Ilesley definitely fit as younger versions of Elton John. They are not as strong as Egerton, of course, but it does feel like the two kids would eventually grow into Egerton's Elton. They're solid as child actors go. Bryce Dallas Howard is also really good as Elton John's mother Sheila. Howard plays a hard and seemingly uncaring mother, but it is clear beneath all of this that she really does care about Elton, and this type of layered performance is difficult, but Howard does it well. Jamie Bell also does a nice job as one of Elton's closest friends and the writer of his lyrics, Bernie Taupin. I didn't find him super compelling, but Bell does a solid job nonetheless, and similarly, Richard Madden does a fine job as John Reed, one of Elton's love interests / one of Elton's agents. Reed has a sort of slimy interior covered over by a suave and confident exterior. It isn't a perfect performance, but Madden is intriguing as the character despite this. And finally, the rest of the cast do good jobs at working with these standouts and helping the whole movie come to life. Stephen McIntosh, Tate Donovan, Charlie Rowe, and even more, all good. Costumes, hair, and makeup. Elton John is known for his crazy, gaudy, and wild clothes, and this film has them in droves. While they are not exactly like the costumes that they are based on, most of them are heavily influenced by them and are at least super close to what some looked like in real life. Every scene seems to have a new Elton costume, and I was always looking forward to seeing the next one. They look stupendous. Additionally, I really like Taron Egerton's makeup in this film. In fact, the film's makeup artist didn't try to beautify him all that much. He has acne, wrinkles, and during his more intense moments of addiction, a distraught look to him that was very realistic. And that's the best part of this film's makeup. It's realistic. And as for everyone else, there was an excellent assortment of clothes from the 1950s through the 1970s, from hippie clothes to disco paraphernalia to suits. The costumes, hair, and makeup here help to set the various eras the film takes place in, and they all look great to boot. Set design. Most of the sets are not super fantastic. A lot of them are just daily buildings, but with a 1960s, 70s aesthetic to them. Suburbs, houses in suburbs, offices, recording studios, stages, your basic musician biopic stuff. But I don't want to discount them. They do look great, just nothing new. Choreography. This is a musical film, so of course there was excellent choreography during performances. This film captures real Elton John performances excellently, from their flash to their energy to their uniqueness, and in the midst of this, there was a nice addition of fantastical elements that really fit with each performance to enhance them nicely. But what really differentiates Rocketman from other musical biopics like Bohemian Rhapsody is that its dance numbers and choreography are not limited to the film's concerts. In fact, there are a lot of scenes in the film that use music and dance choreography to characterize Elton and forward the story. Scenes that showcase Elton's childhood, his addiction, his life. It's all really creative and handled really well. Each dance is very intricate, fun, energetic, and simply great to watch. Cinematography. There are a lot of great one-takes in this film during the musical numbers. The camera flows around nicely during these moments and captures every piece of the scene that needs to be captured. The cinematographer understood the brilliance of this film's choreography, and the cinematography not only works to showcase it excellently, but the camera movements in many ways become one with the choreography. Simply stupendous. There are also a lot of cool effects used throughout the film to accentuate Elton John's steady decline into drug abuse and alcoholism. During the scenes where he's effed up, the camera work tended to get distorted and blurry. In fact, a lot of the camera work tended to match Elton's mental state during the scene. From darkness during his more somber and depressed moments, to bright and vibrant during the times when he's feeling great, to everything in between. The cinematography in this film is really good and quite unique. Editing. There are a lot of great moments of editing here that blend scenes together in some of the most creative and well done montages I've seen in a long while. The way that the film is edited together makes the choreography montages flow in such a way so as to make them seem like one continuous dance number, where the actors' costumes and sets magically change during them. It helps to add enough style to this film to make it feel really unique, despite the film's seen-it-before story. And amidst this, there were also a lot of great scene transitions, from quickly swapping out actors mid-scene to showcase aging, to at one moment during the Rocketman performance, Elton launching himself into the sky to explode into fireworks next to an airplane, and then transition to a scene with Elton inside an airplane. Really cool stuff. The film as a whole has a nice flow to it that makes it one heck of a good time. CGI. There isn't much flashiness in the way of CGI. Most of it, I assume, was used to pad out the audiences during the concerts and add details to the cities and other details here and there. However, there was definitely some CGI used to enhance the more fantastical elements of the film, such as when, as I said, during the Rocketman performance, Ellen launches into the sky like a rocket ship and explodes into fireworks. It looks pretty good and just adds to the already awesome performance. Music. This is an Elton John biopic, so it's got a lot of Elton John music. And being the legend that he is, of course the soundtrack to this film is great. But what makes it really interesting is that all of the music is actually sung by Taron Egerton and not Elton John. However, Egerton does a phenomenal job. His voice isn't exactly like Elton's, but it sounds pretty damn close. And at times, other cast members join Egerton in singing Elton songs. Saturday's Night Alright for Fighting, Crocodile Rock, Rocketman, and so many more, all great and all implemented in cool ways.
Had no girl, Chevy, and a place of my own.
Direction. Dexter Fletcher has quite a solid track record so far. Wild Bill, Sunshine on Leith, Eddie the Eagle, and sort of Bohemian Rhapsody. Although I had not really heard of him until last year when I saw him in Terminal as Vince. I liked that movie, unlike a lot of people apparently, and I liked Fletcher in it. I thought he was fun. Hell, even with the whole Bryan Singer catastrophe on the set of Bohemian Rhapsody, I for some reason didn't even know that Fletcher was brought on to finish the film. I didn't even know that the film was his idea in the first place. But finally my brain is calibrated. I know who he is, and I have to admit that I am impressed with him. He did a marvelous job with Rocketman. The way that he captures music on screen is just magnetizing, something to behold. And part of me wants to know what he would have done if he helmed the entirety of Bohemian Rhapsody, but another part of me is just thankful that he was able to complete that project and make it an entertaining ride, and crank out Rocketman so soon afterward. Because who knows, if he was the sole director on Bohemian Rhapsody, we may have never gotten Rocketman, or at least gotten Rocketman so soon. So because of that, I can't really complain. But I now know how talented Fletcher is as an actor and as a director, and I can't wait to see what he does next in his career. My enjoyment. I had a really good time with this one. Yes, it's nothing new, but it's fun. While I knew about Elton John going into it, mostly his music, I'd never really been into his music. But this film has turned me on to it. I found the music catchy, and I've been humming it consistently. And I found Elton John's story to be a compelling one. Suffice to say, I found this to be one of the best films to have come out this year so far. Recommendations. If you like Elton John, classic rock, or films like Bohemian Rhapsody, or all three, then this film will be right up your alley. It revels in all of Elton John's glory and all of his faults, but it never condemns him for the latter. Instead, it uses them to showcase the musical prodigy's multi-layered personality and life, and in so doing it helps us, the audience, understand him and like him. Alternatively, if you aren't into musicals, classic rock, or Elton John, I doubt this film will have much to offer you. It is primarily for those who like Elton. And like I said, if you're one of those people, then you should relish this film, because I think it's going to be a long time until we get another Elton John film as deep, endearing, and entertaining as this. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. If you want to add anything, feel free to comment. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I am Professor Kino, and I look forward to our next discussion.